Alright, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Balake back in Balake's fish room, and you would have seen in the last video that we're actually we're getting started on the fish room. We've got it all cleaned out, and we've got the tanks on order. So they're all going to be coming by delivery probably in the next couple of weeks. But today I just wanted to do a really fun video, something that I get a little bit complacent with, because I do it twice a day, and I don't like. I love watching it. But I don't watch it every single day, and it's just one of those things that yeah, fish keepers can get complacent about, but it is one of the most entertaining things and cool things to watch when you keep fish, and that's feeding them. I do it twice a day, once in the morning and once at night, and it's really cool. I sit back and I watch them feed. There's a whole bunch of different things that you can that benefit from you actually sitting there and watching them while they feed. But I'll get into all that in a sec. But that's what we're going through today. It's going to be an absolute feeding frenzy. All right, and this right here is what's going to be constituting our feeding frenzy. So we've got a bunch of different foods in front of us. I'll get to all of them in just a moment. But I wanted to start with just the things that we actually feed the fish every single day, because we don't feed everything that we've got in front of us every day, but most of it we do. So the first two, these are the guys that we do feed the fish every single day. So the first one, we've got Thera A. So pick this one up here. So it's Thera A plus. That's the size pellet. So it's a 2mm to 2.5mm pellet. It does, it's got marine fish on here. It's got what are they? Peacock cichlids from Africa. So they've got a whole bunch of different benefits to all different fish. So you look in here and you've got these nice tiny little pellets. So they're good for all sizes. So even big fish are going to eat this kind of stuff. So big fish will love it, but the small fish can also eat it. So this is a good idea if you're growing a bunch of different sized fish out in the same tank, that they can all consume the same pellet. Otherwise you're just buying it's a muck around. But yeah, so that's the first one. So we've got those pellets. So they're really, really good. They love them. They're full of garlic, so they're tasty as. Let's just come back in focus here. So then the flake isn't something that I would normally feed any of my fish. Usually I would just have a pellet and then a couple of food like these guys here, which I'll get to in a sec. But this is just tropical fish flake. So take the lid off. It's just flakes. So these things I normally wouldn't feed, but I do have one fish that can only eat this stuff. It doesn't, for some reason, it doesn't eat any of the pellets. It doesn't really have the grinding plates to be able to break it down. So it needs things like algae and flake to actually break it down. So that's the Kissing Gourami. So it's like these South American cichlids. They've got these grinding plates that can actually like grind down the pellets when we put it in. But the Kissing Gourami, yeah, they do have some, but they're not as strong, and they eat from the surface, so you need something that's nice and soft that you can put on the surface. So the flake is really good for fish like that. Also for fish like, I guess, angelfish. They are more tough. They can eat pellets. But you might have angelfish. They might be for I don't know, tetras, Corridora, that kind of stuff. But for our guys, we usually have them on just the pellets. But for the Kissing Gourami that we got in there, which we're probably actually going to be selling on soon, because we're really refining down our fish room. So we might do that soon, get rid of the Kissing Gourami so we don't have to worry about another food. But then these guys, so the brine shrimp is something that I feed every second day, and I don't feed it in a large quantity. So the brine shrimp, they're really good food. They're a little bit expensive, but they're high in proteins. And some of the fish that I do keep, almost missed the cup then. When they eat so much protein, you can see all the brine shrimp just moving around in there. So come down here. So we put it in there to defrost, but some fish can't process a whole bunch of protein all the time. So you only give this every couple of days or every 3 days, depending on the size of your tank. But I give, I think that was 4 cubes, and I put that in my massive tank. So it's not actually that much brine shrimp for the size of the fish that are in there. It's just a nice little treat for them to eat. So, but brine shrimp, yeah, it just comes in these. Let's get some focus. So, it just comes in these sleeves. So you just pop out a couple of cubes at a time, and just whack them in water. Defrost them first. You can just whack them in frozen, but one fish might grab onto the whole clump and just swallow the whole thing. Especially these guys that are getting bigger. And then this, this is my favorite food, but it's also the most annoying because these are live blackworms. So I'll bring it over here in the light a little bit better. Let's see if I can turn on. All right. So I don't know if that's better. Let's just go with that for now. So these are live blackworms. So these blackworms, every day, what you have to do to keep them alive, unless you have an aerator in the tank, but it's really hard to have an aerator going inside your fridge, which is where you need to keep them. But these guys, I feed these every single day because you can see them wriggling. They're alive. So I feed these every single day, but I feed them last. And the reason is there's only one fish that I actually want to be eating these blackworms, only because they're expensive. The other fish love them, but they don't need them. But the black nasty, I've noticed it's not a massive fan of pellets. And if they sit at the bottom of the tank for an hour or so and the black nasty swims by, they do eat it. But they're not voracious eaters for things like pellets. So I've got to put in some live blackworms. I'll see if I can get a bit better lighting on them. Ooh. So, yeah, the black nasty eats these and it's its favorite, but every other fish loves these as well and it's their favorite. So I've got to time it properly to actually make sure that I get the black nasty some of these blackworms. But you'll see how we go, because we'll get into the feeding very soon. But those are the foods that I feed my cichlids. And they've all got a different reason behind it, but again, the blackworms, they're very high in protein, so you don't want to be feeding those every day, unless you do have something like a black nasty, which is, I don't know, it's probably not all black nasties, but my black nasty, it doesn't eat pellets, it doesn't eat flakes, it doesn't eat anything I put in there, unless blackworms. So anyway, let's get into feeding them. Alright guys, so just before we actually feed the big tank up there, I just wanted to show you guys what the blackworms look like when they're just going into a nice calm tank. So let's just get a little scoop of the blackworms. Okay, and I just want to show you the kind of reaction that just two fish will get to these kinds of food. So I'm going to try and avoid the filter. Actually, let's just turn off this filter. Let's follow this cord back here. There we go. Bloody good. All right. So that filter's off, so it's not gonna get thrown about everywhere. So let's have a look. Let's just get some of these blackworms on the fork again. All right, and let's just have a look how these guys react to all these worms. Look at those colors. They're looking absolutely amazing. They love these kinds of worms. Just the fact that they're alive, it creates more of a natural kind of food that they're going to be eating. The worms are going to go hide in little places and they can kind of eat them throughout the day. It's going to be really, really... I just love feeding this kind of stuff, and you can see how much they love it. And I wouldn't be surprised now that they're fully settled into this tank. I wouldn't be surprised if these guys were spawning in the next week or so. So anyway, guys, let's get to feeding the big tank. Oh, and before we get to feeding the big tank, every single day, you need to change the water with these guys because the water has no oxygen going to it. It needs to be fresh, oxygenated water. You should keep it in your fridge. I find no issues with just putting it into my sump filter and just filling it up with a little bit of the water straight out of the aquarium. I only half fill it, just give them a little water change. it makes them a lot more active, but it keeps them alive, because if you don't do that, they will die, and then you can't feed them to your fish. Otherwise, your fish are basically eating pure ammonia and death. So that's not what you want. But anyway, guys, let's get to feeding the top tank. All right, guys, you can see they are ready to eat. This is the spot where I feed them every day. And when I put my hand up above the tank like this, they all just come up and they start swarming. And they don't care about each other. They're like neck to neck, and they're just together waiting for the food. There's a Dovii, there's a bocourti cichlid, there's the Festaes, there's the emerald cichlid. Normally they wouldn't actually get this close to each other and stay there, but they know food's coming. So they're being fairly tolerant of each other, which is really, really cool. But I want to show you, there is a method to my madness. I've got it all lined up in order of how I want to feed the fish. So bear with me, guys. I'm doing this filming one-handed, and then I've got my right hand free to actually feed the fish. So let's just grab a few of these pellets. So we're just going to go in with like a good pinch. Now let's just go in with them. There we go. So the reason I go in with the pellets first is because most of the fish in there love eating the pellets. So I go in with them, and that distracts all the other fish. That really makes them all calm down. You can see the Kissing Gourami here. She is trying to get the pellets, but she's not very successful at doing it, and she needs something like the flake. So the good thing is all the other fish are going to eat the flake as well. So I put in a bunch of the flake, just like that. And then the Kissing Gourami, you can see, is coming up now, and she's just feasting and having a great time. Let's come around this side. Absolutely having a wonderful time just eating all those flakes, while the rest of the fish are still grinding up the pellets, which is really, really good. That's exactly what we want. The next thing, what we're going to do is we're going to go in with the brine shrimp. So we're not going to put all the brine shrimp in this tank. Actually, let's give that a little stir. So we're not going to go in with all the brine shrimp into this tank, because we want to put some in with the Salvini. So we just get it here and we just pour it straight in, and the brine shrimp come through like that. I'm going to pour some in this end as well, up here, just to distract the fish and get them all out of the one spot. So you can see now a bunch of the fish are going to come down this end, and that's going to disperse where they're feeding. So you got some fish up that end and some fish down this end, and then come down here, and we can give, there's not many left in there, but we'll give the rest of these to the Salvini. And the filter's going to blow them all the way around. How good did they look? They've fully settled into the tank. They've totally rearranged all the rocks and everything, which is really good. But they are looking amazing. They've relaxed in the tank, which is cool. They were just grey. They were just grey coloured for like 2 weeks, which is really upsetting. It's not nice to see your fish like all stressed out. But now that they've calmed down, they've realised this is going to be their tank for a while. I probably won't move these guys. Like, this is a nice little tank for a pair of Salvini. Like, it's just working. So anyway, let's move on. So I probably wasted the opportunity I had, but I need to now feed the black nasty, the black worms. So I know everything else in the tank is going to go absolutely wild for the black worms as well. There's nothing I can do about it. The black nasty also does, hang on, where's the black? Black nasty is, oh, it's back there, being a weirdo. Come on, mate, what are you doing? It's eating brine shrimp. So it also, yeah, it does eat brine shrimp, which is good, but that's a whole bunch of protein. So let's get some of these black worms on a fork. And let's hope we don't drop a whole bunch of worms all over my floor. All right, let's time it well. Oh, is this gonna drop? Is this gonna drop? Hang on, let's just get rid of some. Okay, that's better. All right, we've gone for it. Okay, we made it. All right, so I've got to see where the black nasty is there. All right, there's the black nasty down here. It's coming up, and there we go. It's getting the black worms, so we know all the fish in the tank have been fed, that's the main goal. So, you know, we've got fish in here like the black nasty, we've got the Dovii, the baby, which I don't know why I bought it, but there's the Dovii, there's the Viejas, there's the bocourti cichlid, there's the Rivulatis, there's the emerald cichlids. There's a bunch of fish in here which are going to need their own tanks fairly soon, which is what we're doing, that we've ordered the tanks and they're going to be arriving. So we're growing everything out so they can have a kind of a good temperament and everything, but we're feeding them all together and everybody is getting along fairly well. There's not usually any long-lasting aggression. It's usually one or two little attacks on each other, but that's about it. So anyway, guys, that's just a video on feeding my fish, what I feed them, why I feed them, the certain things that I do, and how I feed them, and the strategy that I do it. If you like watching this kind of stuff, and you like watching South American cichlids, and want to follow along the journey into the fish room and getting a whole bunch of different breeding pairs and spawning them and going through the whole business side of things as well, then follow along, subscribe to the channel. I just do this because it's my absolute hobby and it's my love, that I just love doing it. It's just the best thing ever. Some people like pottery, some people like playing golf. I like keeping fish and it just makes me so happy, and I know a lot of people are just the same as me and just love this hobby. So follow this channel, give this video a like, give it a thumbs up or whatever it is, and I will see you guys in the next one.